Well, if you want to work in a STEM field, one of the best places to do that is at the NASA Glenn Research Center here in Cleveland. That's where some of the best minds in the country work.
Yeah, absolutely. And Betsy recently sat down with the Deputy Director of Research and Engineering at NASA, Dr. Marla Perez-Davis, who shared her STEM story.
As a young girl, I was always very curious. I would play with the dolls for a little while, and then I would levitate to, the hands-on, taking things apart. When I started school, math and science were my passion. So I always said I wanted to be an engineer.
What's been the biggest struggle during your career?
Well, one of them, obviously, is, the language. That's one. The other one is the culture. I mean, it's a different culture. Obviously, I have never been outside Puerto Rico. That was my first flight, was to come here. So talk about changes and struggles, right? So there's always something to gain when you do something that is different.
What would you tell young girls who want to have a STEM career?
Never question yourself about your ability. Be curious and ask a lot of questions. Ask as many questions as you can. That's the best way to learn. Just set a goal and just go for it. Just go for it.